Generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
It's 10 p.m. and thank you for staying up with us now on live at Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Laupon here on what has been kind of a stormy evening for some, but honestly, mainly dry and hot for a lot of us. Well, that heat is finally going to take a little bit of a backseat. Maybe that's putting it too strongly. It's going to become less oppressive, but still very much noticeable. We have a cold front that's arrived, and that is helping to drop those temperatures somewhat. Rain chances are going to increase for your Friday. The latest look at our future cast here in a couple minutes kind of showing where those are popping up. I think one or two could have a couple strong wind gusts. Thankfully, I think most should stay below severe limits and no tornado threat by anything that we have tomorrow, simply because we're just very disorganized in overall pattern. That will continue into the weekend with spotty rain chances that also go along with a more mild weekend ahead, mild being a relative term. Out in Cleveland right now, the temperature 81 degrees. As you'll notice, this is kind of updates here. We got a thunderstorm over top of that area, and there's a decent amount of lightning from time to time, but still kind of some rainfall that is clouding up that picture there. Again, I want to thank the folks with North Mississippi Storm Chasers for, of course, allowing us to use these cameras here. And I want to thank, of course, Room to Room for sponsoring us here in the Room to Room Weather Center and allowing us to come into your living room, as are all the cases with all our sponsors. Please support them since they support us, and certainly that will be one way, of course, that we can show them that this is viable. We can keep doing this. So Crenshaw, we're 79 degrees at this point as well. You can see there are some spotty showers around the region there, kind of in that part of the state. A couple lightning flashes there, probably closer to Senatobia as we're looking generally 311. Yeah, that'd be looking toward that storm there, close to the Senatobia area at this point in time. Looking at the latest here, kind of on a wider shot. This is a 3-hour loop. All of our thunderstorms we had up here, the tip of Benton counties have died out. We did have a few that kind of moved there closer to Oxford area and then kind of expanded back toward the south and west, and that's where we still show a few at this time. They're somewhat heavier, in particular this one there between Tutwiler and Charleston. That one somewhat heavy. Again, nothing severe out of any of these thunderstorms at this point in time. So we're looking at this one closer to Turner. Lightning strikes, only 14. Our severe storm that we had in Pickens County earlier was more like 500, and on the wider shot 1,000. So a sign that this is relatively weak, and certainly watching that closely, but it's just kind of popping up and dying where it is there. Three-dimensional look extending up about 15,000 feet. So we'd be looking at to get quite a bit higher if this was going to produce some kind of severe weather there. Rainfall has been decent from time to time today. We have had a couple locations where we have had estimations, especially up there closer to Holly Springs, north of that, northern Marshall County, estimated almost 4 inches. And that's probably overdoing it a little bit, but just a reminder, these spotty storms from time to time can be decent in their own right. Down around Kosciuszko will show about 2 inches there. And the one spot there near the Itawamba and Marion state line between those Mississippi and Alabama, estimation almost 2 inches. But notice there's just a lot of spots where we have not had as much. New drought monitor came out today. Drought is expanding. It is that time of year where that happens, and unfortunately, that is happening. So as we go over the first 12 here, again, rain coverage, we're only about 10% or so, 80 degrees, that 11 p.m. temperature. We're 78 by 2 o'clock in the morning. And note the north winds, that northerly wind component you see there is because of a front moving through the area, bringing us slightly cooler. It's not a big cool down, but slightly cooler and drier air. Now, we're still probably going to be 86 by 11 a.m. tomorrow and heading into the 90s for quite a few spots for highs. So cooler is a relative term still, but that front kind of moving through and helping us to dry things out a bit. Let's go slightly wider here on the perspective again, showing some of the showers and thunderstorms we had earlier. Still some ongoing out there into Arkansas, and some of our projections do try to have those kind of build in. You'll note here on Futurecast, kind of on the wide shot here, that it kind of takes most of those down into central South Arkansas and makes them fall apart. So I don't feel terribly confident we're going to get some showers around that are that widespread, but there will still be some overnight rumbles. Chance does not go to zero because this front in the area and still the residual lift from that. So that is heading south of us as we go into the early morning time period. First day of school for a lot of folks. Congrats to the kids, and maybe bigger congrats to the parents on surviving another summer, enjoying another summer, and hopefully it's a fantastic school year for all those folks. I know certainly my kids are getting excited for that. But as we start the day, we're fairly dry. But because this front is still somewhat close, you'll notice a couple isolated thunderstorms possibly trying to pop up here in the northern part of the state. On the Y shot, I know we do have some viewers in central South Mississippi. You see you're still ahead of that front, and that means you're still in the heat with this. So that front making a difference for us and dropping those temperatures to 81, still we're about 9 a.m. It's going to be still pretty warm, and we're going 89 at 3 p.m. We kind of missed the highest temperature around the 90-degree point tomorrow on this hour by hour on this next 24. But rain coverage probably 30, maybe up to 40% for some spots as we have some isolated thunderstorms developing into the afternoon time period. Again, most of those close to the front, and that means mainly the southern part of the area. That's what we're looking at our Futurecast here in a minute as we kind of analyze where those rain chances are the greatest. And we do have some of your weather pictures from this evening to show you as Mississippi Live Weather at 10 continues right after.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobheim.
And congrats once again on making it to another school year. I know it's going to be a fantastic one, and at least it's not blistering hot for the first day. I know there were a few folks, including Mrs. Maynard, that had their first day today, hence the reason you haven't seen Gabe at all. Kind of holiday in the household there for them. But pickup is going to be probably mid-70s for the first part of tomorrow, and then upper 80s to maybe around 90. I think the heat index is still probably mid-90s for tomorrow. Could it be up to 100 degrees? So it is still hot. Need to make sure the kids have, obviously, that water bottle to stay hydrated and remind them to fill it back up when they're at school before they get back on the bus. But we do anticipate there will be some spotty thunderstorms in the afternoon, especially closer to the Golden Triangle, US 82 southward in particular. Yeah, but it's nice to see that peak temperature is only in the upper 80s. Our normal high this time of year, 93. I think we'll be both below that for tomorrow and really a good chunk of the extended forecast as this front making a pretty decent distance. Here's Futurecast. As you can see, showing kind of on the close-in shot here that front is south of us. But the positioning again with this, whenever we're depicting that, the front extends at multiple levels in the atmosphere. It's not just the surface, but it also kind of extends aloft. And so sometimes there can be some residual lift there as well. Doesn't make as big a deal this time of year, but I think close to where that front is, we will have some thunderstorms popping up by afternoon. But as you can see, to begin the day on your Friday, we are dry. Temperatures around 73 in Water Valley and Bruce. A reminder, I'm going to be out in Water Valley at the Watermelon Festival tomorrow. We hope to see you there. I know they're looking for a good turnout this weekend, and I'm not saying I pulled some strings here, but things worked out pretty well as far as festival concerned this weekend, considering it will be hot, but not ridiculously hot. We're 73 there in Oxford as well as Eupora, 74 in Starkville. Just wait till, tomorrow when I'm like, oh, it's hot and my phone's not wanting to work right because it's too hot in the sunshine. It's been a lot worse the last couple of days. So spotty showers initially, but I think most of us are mainly dry here looking at the latest on Futurecast. We do show a couple isolated storms in the morning out into Arkansas if travel takes you back that direction, but cloud cover and that front mainly south of us keeping us in a milder category than where we were for today. Now, notice by 1 to 2 o'clock, we do show a couple isolated storms developing on the very latest version of our HRRR Futurecast here. And it does have a couple more out here. Hamilton, Russellville is farther north than what we were looking at during our 5 and 6 o'clock broadcast. So that is showing you that I think that we'll still have some. We'll see the heaviest we're showing closer to Kosciuszko out there, kind of near Eupora and out toward Bruce and Calhoun City, as well as Houston, and that one doesn't exist right there. Then again, maybe that rain cool there is what we need. Hopefully that's not the case. And again, positioning on these pop-up storms this time of year always somewhat relative. You can see the heaviest, though, down closer to the front. So if this slows even a little bit and slightly farther north, that would definitely increase some of our rain chances a bit more. So still some questions on that, but I think in general, things are going to be rainiest the southern part of the area. Greatest chances, certainly. But look at this. We're 93 in Greenwood, 94 Belzona. But outside of that, most locations, lower 90s. I mean, technically, I guess both those are lower 90s, but 91 Houston or 90 in the Tupelo area. Very nice for this time of year. Oxford, we're going about 85 for that temperature tomorrow, the high, and about 86 Senatobia and the South Haven area. 100 degrees. That's the heat index in Houston and Amory. And you notice how it gets lower farther north. That's the drier air and the impacts related to that, making it much more manageable closer to the Tennessee state line. And that drier air is trying to settle southward beyond your Friday. That wet bulb globe temperature we've talked about a lot recently, and nice to see this down in the low to only really moderate category with the exception of down in Belzona, and no black showing up on this, meaning no extreme. So everybody can practice in some form or fashion for at least some length of time in a healthy way, even though it's going to be hot. And just make sure to hydrate, no matter who you are. That's a necessity in this situation. So today, high temperatures were there around the upper 90s. And as you can see, the next few days, much, much more manageable. We do start kind of creeping up a bit more into next week with the low 90s back, but that's what we expect for this time of year. Our normal is 93. So Futurecast, kind of looking around the region, you'll notice how it keeps the greatest quantity. Now we're on to our strike model here, which is the one we look at beyond the first 24 hours most of the time. And it has a greater quantity of storms, again, closer to the US 82 corridor. So that's that contrast we were talking about a moment there, closer to that front, a greater number. And it does have a pretty decent flare up down here around Knoxville County, back out toward Tuscaloosa. This tends to be a little aggressive on its projections, but you'll see it continues to have some of those thunderstorms into the overnight hours to pre-dawn early Saturday. Your weekend forecast at this point is largely looking drier than tomorrow will be, but there's still some thunderstorms around the region. You can see a greater quantity out there toward Alabama. The wide shot shows there is this low pressure center kind of riding along the front, and that added little bit of convergence can from time to time add some storms. That's why there were a greater number of those out into Alabama. For our region, I'll go ahead and zoom it right back in here out in the northern part of Mississippi. If you're one of the folks watching us up here, again, most of us are fairly dry with the primary rain chances down in South Mississippi, even into the afternoon. It does show us relatively dry. So we'll go 20 to 30% on that rain coverage. In all likelihood, certainly looking like a lot of those plans are going to be in pretty good shape, even into the latter part of Saturday evening. So high temperatures Saturday, about 87 in Cleveland. We're 90 in Grenada, 88 degrees Eupora, and coming around 88 New Albany, 89 degrees in Tupelo, Amory, and Houston. And again, that all below our normal for this time of year. So hour by hour, looking at that forecast on for your Friday, 77. We're 88 degrees at noon. Again, high temperature around 90, back down to 88 and 5 p.m. there. And some of those rain chances certainly peaking in the afternoon to early evening time period, kind of like they have recently, maybe even a couple that do extend later into the evening as well. The rest of that 7-day forecast coming in around 20% of that rain coverage for your Saturday, Sunday about 30%, Monday 30% or so. I think in each of those cases, again, it's still pretty spotty stuff even into next week. And that's one of the reasons why that drought continues to increase across the region, at least to a limited extent. So into next week, we're going to keep things milder. And I see pretty much zero complaints in our chats on YouTube and Facebook related to that at this point here. So appreciate the folks in Egypt, Monroe County, Ryanzi, Boonville, Corinth, Fulton, all for watching us again this evening. Ethelsville out there. Good to see you over in Ethelsville, Alabama as well. Let's look ahead at a couple things. So what we're looking at here, I'm going to try to skip past this name key that shows up there, is some Weather Watcher pictures. And I showed this at 5 and 6, and I gotta show it again because I don't know that I've ever seen pictures quite as amazing as this, certainly since we've been on Mississippi Live Weather. So this is a waterspout formed by convergence near the coastline, and the converging air has some spin to it. So essentially, as air comes together, you can get some shear in the horizontal, the horizontal, like the horizon, that gets tilted into the vertical as that air comes together, and you can form some storms. So if a storm forms over that, it can bend the shear, the horizontal rotation into the vertical. All that to say, it's a tornado-ish, but these typically don't move much, and they typically aren't terribly strong because as soon as it bends in the vertical, because the whole storm isn't rotating, it falls apart pretty quickly. So we show these all the time. Well, this is the reason why I'm actually showing this. It's because BJ here at Point Clear caught this lightning strike to go along with it. I just think that this is just such a cool combination of the water spout that you see there and then the lightning strike illuminating it. We know it's a real picture because you can see kind of the ghosting of that second, what looks like a second strike parallel to the first. That's actually the light getting into the lens of the camera and just kind of refracting a little bit. It's just too bright. The camera can't handle it. And so a lot of times, almost any time we have a legit lightning strike, you're going to have kind of a ghosted image that goes along with it as well. So just kind of cool the way that one, just a few moments apart, shows up. I love this shot. Anyway, if you have great pictures to send us, send them in to us using the Mississippi Live Weather app. And I do want to take you behind the scenes on the way this app kind of works. So look at this. So I show, send these weather pictures, and we showed this one during our broadcast earlier tonight at 6 o'clock. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that picture out. And one of the cool things that we can do is we can come in here and we can show geolocated where all the different pictures you guys have sent are. And we have not had a ton of those out there this evening, but we have had some. And Adrian from the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, we had him send in some of the pictures that they had gotten this evening. So this one was from Joe Wicker in the Ecru area. We'll wait for that to populate on there. And so he sent in this shot of one of the kind of lowerings on the clouds there. Let's go ahead and click OK on that for a second. And I'll click away so we get that box to go away. But you can kind of see the low-hanging part of that cloud. This would be Joe with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers kind of showing what we call a shelf cloud. The rain-cooled air from that kind of coming toward the camera. Really a kind of cool look on the way that works there. So we appreciate Joe for sharing that picture with us this evening. Give me a moment to kind of populate in all their pictures once again here, because those guys and gals do an amazing job. This picture here coming in from Justin in New Albany, and it's like, I might be able to click away on this. Nope, I'm gonna have to click on that. So he caught one of those thunderstorms as they had kind of developed, the ones I think up there toward Benton County when they were strong, borderline severe. That's when we did that cut in a little earlier on. Appreciate Justin Mills with North Mississippi Storm Chasers, one of their newer members, for that pretty cool shot. I'll try to get out of the way of the sun. That also kind of capture the side there. Appreciate that picture that Justin sent in. And as I delete this off here, so you can kind of see the cool part about the system is since they are geolocated on here, we had one of the folks there from the Storm Chase group kind of send them all in. Oop, and it looks like I clicked them all in. Well, that's one way to do it, isn't it? See, this part of the fun of doing this on the air. Oh, we already saw that one, Control Z. Yeah, even in weather computers, Control Z works. Well, anyway, as you can see, let's save that one. Try that one. Nope, we'd already seen that one. Oh, we haven't seen. We're going to get it, promise. This one here, that lightning strike, again, from one of their cameras, they were able to capture this pretty cool lightning strike. I'm trying to remember in the chat over there where this one was from, because of course I clicked on it. And let's see if, there we go. That's Adrian, and it does not say the location of which of the cameras there, unfortunately. But cool shot nonetheless from the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Cleveland Skycam earlier on. Okay, pretty cool. So that's what, when we get, and you can see here if I kind of populate all of them in from, last last week or so here. I'll double click that. And you can see there's a whole bunch that obviously we have. So the cool thing is we're able to kind of pull those in. We know where it's at. And the reason I'm showing you this is during severe weather coverage, that then allows us to correlate that back to where there are storms, and we kind of figure out, okay, I know exactly what I'm looking at. And that's really helpful when telling the National Weather Service what these storms are we have seen, and you have seen ultimately, not we, but our weather watchers have seen what they're capable of. So anyway, that's kind of behind the curtain on how things work related to that. So with that in mind, we appreciate you watching us here for Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock. Our next live broadcast will be tomorrow at 5 p.m., or at least that's our last planned live broadcast. I will plan to be out there in Water Valley. We'd love to see you out there to join us for that live broadcast. That will be at 5 and 6 o'clock tomorrow. Of course, you can watch us anytime on the app there, both for iOS and Android. You snap a picture of that. I know we have a lot of folks on YouTube, on Facebook still watching us, and we appreciate that. And yeah, for all you folks, we appreciate it. But if you want to get it in the app, this is a good way to do that. Okay, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night, a safe night, and enjoy a cooler beginning to the school year.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.